So guys, we're back for Carnival Muscle Ramblings. I think it's episode number 34. I could be wrong. I don't know. You might have to correct me.
Someone count back.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We don't have it in the title today, so it's probably a good guess, though.
Oh, we've got quite a good crowd, apparently. What's I've heard. Well, I wasn't expecting that.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Fantastic.
It's fantastic. We're going to be covering what ChatGPT says about the carnivore diet and different things around that. So it'll be very fascinating to hear our responses, I'm sure. So we'll get straight to it right now, immediately. I've prepared these already, just to make it easy for you guys to watch. So first question, which I asked, that's me. Is the carnivore diet healthy? So they basically said the carnivore diet is a highly restrictive eating approach that involves consuming only animal products and eliminating animal foods, plant foods. While there are proponents of the carnivore diet who claim it has health benefits, yes, I've met a lot of them personally, it is important to note that this diet is controversial and lacks scientific evidence to support its long-term safety and efficacy.
False.
What's your first thoughts, Jerome?
Well, my first thought is generally how towing the mainstream line ChatGPT often is. And granted, its knowledge base is a couple years old, so it's not up to date with the traction that has been made in the carnivore community. But unfortunately, a lot of ChatGPT's knowledge base seems to come from just general consensus with a lot of topics. So I'm sure we'll get into more specific reasons in a bit when we look at some of the key points here. But so far, it's about what you would expect.
Yeah, pretty typical, isn't it? Wonder who owns this sort of software and internet stuff. Here are a few quick key points to consider. Lack of nutrients. So apparently we're lacking fibre, vitamin C, vitamin E, potassium, phytochemicals, and they play a crucial role. Looking at the wording here, crucial, so it means it's imperative. Without them, we're lacking, we're deficient, we're at risk of chronic disease. So word here, risk. How do they claim there's no scientific evidence for the diet, yet they're making claims about risks and diseases? How does that work?
And we know fibre is not essential, so that's not a problem.
Yeah, I'd be curious what the actual physiologic requirement of phytochemicals that are found in plant compounds are, but I suspect it's pretty low.
Well, I went to the Public Health Collaboration UK conference Saturday. It turns out there's none. Zero.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And the guy that was saying that there was some benefit to it he's a hippy-dippy kind of guy, but also a doctor. He's like, gotta eat the rainbow, guys. Gotta eat the rainbow. I got a great book that sells stuff about plants and crap. Absolute trash. Waste of time. This guy had no arguments at all, honestly. He had no points he made, no validity to anything he said at all. I think, if anything, he actually looked quite stupid.
He kept calling us fishivores, or that we should be fishivores.
Oh, no, that was the other guy. I'm talking about the black gentleman.
Oh, him.
Dr. Chidi.
Chidi, yeah.
Yeah.
So was there, and from the little bits I've seen on like Instagram, was there a debate between plant-based and animal-based doctors? Was it specifically like vegan versus carnivore, or was it just...
It was, yes.
Just
the vegan
plant-based
end,
versus meat, wasn't it?
Yeah, the vegan end or the plant-based end was not held up very well. Must admit, they did get absolutely trounced.
They did.
It was a bit embarrassing. If I was a vegan, I'd be quite embarrassed to have them standing on my behalf. They didn't really have any science. They talked about blue zones, China studies.
That was the book.
Personal anecdotes with clients that happen to not be eating junk food as much anymore, and saying it's because of the plants. I'm like, oh no, all right. It's because of the absence of the junk food. And that was quite well established throughout the whole thing. But yeah, let's get back to this anyway. Right, fibre deficiency. I'm not sure about that. Constipation, Sophie, are you constipated?
No. I think I've only ever been on the first week of it where my body was like adjusting and obviously didn't really know what was going on. But other than that,
Of course.
no, I think I've gone like 4 or 5 days without number 2, and it's not been difficult, painful or anything like that.
So I'm the slightly more advanced carnivore. Constipation, me, no. About Jerome, you're a very advanced carnivore.
Nope, I'm
Constipation?
very, very regular.
All right. Well, that kind of settles that. You've got 3 anecdotes here. It doesn't mean anything according to this website, but, anecdotes. Anyway, saturated fat intake. Linked to doesn't really mean anything. Linked just means it's a correlation, doesn't mean it's a scientific fact. Interestingly, though, I don't have any cardiovascular problems.
No.
I've eaten a lot of animals, guys.
Yeah.
A lot of animals.
Quite a lot in your time.
My heart is the same size as of a normal 6'1" male human being. But you, Jerome, any cardiovascular problems?
No, and if certain markers like blood pressure, hematocrit, HbA1c, fasting blood glucose, and some of these other things strongly correlate with cardiovascular disease and potential risk, then if anything, my cardiovascular health has improved as a result of carnivore, judging by the objective changes in my blood markers.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
It's the same as I hear pretty much across the board of other people that I speak to. I don't speak to many people that are long-term carnivores that are unhealthy. People that are long-term carnivores are often people that have been very unhealthy. So
And have them gotten back their health?
they've gained their health. They've regained it, so haven't they?
Yeah.
Incredible. All right, long-term risks. Risk, causative statement, not fact.
Because it's relatively new. Is carnivore diet relatively new?
Is it relatively new? I thought most of my ancestors have been following it for, I don't know, probably 3.5 million years if you look at the entire species of a human.
And if 3.5 million years is new, then what
It's not
counts as
enough.
old?
We have to go back to the Big Bang, Sophie. That then we can start to draw conclusions.
Okay.
All right, so that's potential impact on overall health, including bone health, kidney function, and gut microbiome diversity. Does gut microbiome diversity show that we are healthy or not?
No.
It's my understanding that a healthy microbiome is probably whatever your microbiome is when you're healthy. And they've done enough studies doing stool transplants on different cohorts and have not seen positive carryovers in a lot of instances. And Paul Saladino, when he was more animal-based, actually did a couple of tests on his gut alpha diversity and found that he's every bit as diverse as omnivorous or more plant-based individuals.
Very good. Very good. Excellent. I thought that was an excellent point. Next, individual variation. Is worth noting that individuals may have different responses to various diets, genetics, metabolism, and overall health. What works for one person might not. Yes, appeal to genetics, individualism. It's a fallacy. It's an idea. How different are we? Not very. Maybe, I don't know, less than 1% or something stupid.
Yeah, something like 0.1%. Ironically, there actually is something in philosophy called the genetic fallacy, but it's not with respect to genetics.
Okay.
I think noting that individuals it may just be as in one can be strict carnivore and one person maybe mentally can't be strict carnivore. Not
Correct.
necessarily like healthy body wise. It might just be like you're stricter than me, but it doesn't mean it's not working for me. I'm just not as strict as you are. But I still don't have any issues.
Correct. Yes, there's an optimal diet for all of us. That's going to be a carnivore diet. How far we stray away from that being meat and fat only. If we're talking about the bare bones of what we do need to survive, protein and fat. Yeah, it's probably the best thing. People have different genes. It's in the topic of epigenetics where they have a slightly different requirement or a different preferred requirement by the body itself.
Yeah.
Dairy is indicated in my diet. High omega-3 is indicated in my diet. How do I know that? My genes. Looked at the history where I'm from. How do I know that? N15 isotope data from that area where I was originally supposedly from. What does that say? My diet should have a high intake of this, that, and the other. This is ideally, but it doesn't mean I have to. Now, going outside of that, I mean, should I be eating bloody beetroot and spinach and kale? No. God, no.
Maybe not.
What about you, Jerome? What do you think is good for your diet?
Just fatty red meat, salt, water, eggs, fish. I think the carnivore diet is the ideal human diet for every single human being. And as much as we like to acknowledge that there are some superficial genetic differences between individuals, the fact is we're 99.9% genetically identical. And if we weren't, doctors couldn't diagnose illness, prescribe medicine, or perform surgery on individuals that they've never met with a very, very high degree of consistency and certainty. If you take almost any individual and put them on an operating table, a doctor knows exactly where they have to go to perform the surgery that they need to perform. We're not as different as we would like to believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very well said.
We just all tolerate different. Like you can tolerate probably more dairy maybe than Jerome. And
Perhaps, yeah.
you tolerate more dairy than me. It's all kind of
Yeah, at the end of the day, we're just people trying to live a healthy life and not end up in the ambulances and hospitals. So,
festivals.
like that. It is recommended to follow a well-balanced diet, includes a variety of nutrient-dense foods. Okay, they've not really defined anything here that makes them nutrient-dense. They've not defined which nutrients they are that we require in a well-balanced diet for a start. We won't even get to the balance thing today. It's redundant. Lean proteins and healthy fats. Okay.
What
Define a healthy fat. Define a lean protein. How fatty does it have to be lean? I notice the hierarchy here. Usually, guys, when they sort of talk about different things, it's like the most important thing comes to mind is usually the first thing. I don't see fruits as being significantly more important than healthy fats and lean proteins. It was just my autistic brain thinking of it this way, but yeah, these three things here seem to be contraindicated. I don't know anyone that's health's become better as a result of swapping the things on the right out for the things on the left. Personally.
Yep.
Of course, speak to a registered dietitian who will tell you exactly what you do need to eat based on your specific needs and goals, of course.
I mean, you could also go to a registered nutritionist, but apparently they don't know the same.
Well, they're not held to the utmost caliber and standard of pedigree in their field of study, so they're not good people to speak to, apparently. They don't know what we're talking about.
No idea. Wasted your 3 years.
Waste.
Absolute waste.
Right, so is calorie tracking the best way to measure dietary intake? I thought this would be a fun one to put in. So it says it can be a helpful tool, people to gain awareness of their dietary intake, make informed decisions about their food choices. It's important to note that it may not be the best or necessary approach for everyone.
Yeah, I agree with that one so far.
Pretty good. Accuracy, individual differences, focus on quality, psychological impact, alternate approaches. Maybe we can give it this piece by piece, perhaps. Yes, they are imprecise. We know that through the food label legislation, which can be plus or minus 20%. I actually picked up something in the supermarket recently, guys, and that was saying that 100 milliliter bottle of like hoisin sauce or something was 623 calories. Bearing in mind it said it had something like 14 grams of sugar in it. And that was all the carbs it had, pretty much. So how would you get 600 plus calories at 14 grams of sugar? Don't trust labels, guys. Eat real food. That's the motto for this little bit here. Individual differences. Yeah, Jerome, how would you explain this one then? So they're saying basically the caloric intake or amount that you take in or expend is different. So how does that come into your dietary changes?
Yeah, I would say that everybody's food intake needs will vary based on age and metabolism and hormonal levels and body composition goals. But calories are just a really, 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 really poor way to approximate food intake. When we're talking so much about body composition, we're talking about mass, and calories are a unit of energy. So to use energy to approximate mass is one step further removed than it has to be. And the further away you get from whatever metric you're trying to use, the more you're going to lose out on efficiency. So everybody's protein and utilizable energy mass intake will vary based on a number of factors, but calories are just a piss poor way to approximate that.
Yeah. That was excellent.
Fantastic.
Nothing to add.
Crowd loved it.
Focus on quality.
See, this is,
Again,
I'm actually happy to see this one because so many people just, especially within my own camp, just say it's just about calorie deficit. And they tell you to get your protein and everything else is pretty much up to your discretion, up to your calorie intake. So I'm really actually glad to see this point.
Yeah, I was very chuffed to see this. Quality above all, really. And it's funny because when you talk about quality, you know, animal protein, animal fat, it makes measurements much easier. You know, because reason being there's less to go wrong. Therefore, the quality of your diet is better, and also the nutrition quality is better itself. And it's hard to go overboard on the quantity because the quality is so high.
Yeah.
So the carnivore diet is it's a knockout in this kind of situation.
Because a lot of people do say when they're like calorie counting, get as much for your calories as you can. So like the whole volume eating where you get the lowest calorie, because then you can get the biggest quantity of food by having the least calories. But then you see them with the massive plates of food. They're hungry an hour later. And we can have our tiny little bowl of like a single burger and cheese. And that's us like stuffed until our next meal in like 3-4 hours time. So it is quality over quantity. And I say that for kind of every situation in life.
Yeah. Excellent.
I would have massive concerns about conditioning a habit of trying to stuff your stomach full of food anyways. I think a
Yeah.
lot of people in a lot of ways should be trying to have smaller, more easily digestible meals than as much food as they can eat within certain constraints.
Yeah, I like that.
Isn't it our stomach only needs like 400 grams of food or something?
Our stomach at rest is something like 400 milliliters in capacity, which equates to about 400 grams of food, depending on what you're eating. You can eat a bit more, and the stomach will stretch quite significantly, perhaps to several liters, like 2-3 liters perhaps, but that's not optimal.
Yeah.
Just because we can store that much food doesn't mean we should.
Yeah.
It's digestive upset written all over it. We're in a position now in our society where we can eat smaller meals more frequently. We have more accessibility to it. We don't need to deal with the stress of stuffing ourselves, running away from an animal, because we have food all the time. It's always there. You know, so it's one way how our natural surroundings have changed. They've actually made that stressor in particular less of an impact to us. So in a way, it's less of a burden. Here to talk about psychological impact. So unhealthy obsessions with food, rigid eating patterns, basic orexia.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. People look at the numbers and they get obsessed. I'm sort of trying to get across more and more now to people, you know, because I think a lot of my followers are kind of past the point of tracking, or at least I hope so. It's more of a case of, you know, I'm going to eat a pack of beef with some eggs today and a few slices of cheese.
Yeah.
That's a lot less stressful to think about than counting everything. I know I count a lot of things, and I count things for the sake of my own scientific practice, just to prove things to myself. If I am over or under eating, I want to stay on top of my food intake because I can lose weight very fast. At the same time, I can also gain weight very fast if I eat too much and don't follow some sort of strict regimen.
Yeah. It keeps you in track, doesn't it? Because you did that week without tracking and you stayed the same bar like a couple of 100 grams, which, let's be honest, could have been a wee, could have been a drink
Yeah.
difference.
For me, I'm in a different position. I think Jerome is as well. I mean, Jerome, perhaps he doesn't track everything all the time, but for me, I like to know what's happening to body composition, and is that a result of my diet? And I find about 90% of the time it is, because my diet that affects my body mass, how big or how small I am. So
Yeah. And I think if you're going to track things, you should try and make it as easy as possible. And you and I have talked about contest preps in the past before. So if I know breakfast is 6 eggs, lunch is half a kilogram of beef, and dinner is half a kilogram of beef, well, then if it comes to a point in my prep when I need to reduce my food intake, I could take 1 egg out, or I could take out 50 grams of beef before I cook it before my lunch or before my dinner. And it becomes a much easier way to be consistent and track food intake, but not have to try and do all of this Mickey Mouse math to approximate calorie intake. I've brought it up in our carnivore crew group, and I've shown the group the pictures, but I'm in a private forum where there was a lady who was not losing weight at 900 to 1,000 calories a day. And I can't imagine the physical hell that she was probably going through with not only not feeling very good because her food intake is so low, but the group consensus for that was she's probably not tracking her calories accurately enough. I despise calorie tracking as a way to approximate food intake.
yeah, it's not helpful, is it? Your best bet is to look at the food grams that you're eating.
Yeah, and
If it's
a
not
food
working,
scale. A
yeah,
food
food
scale is
scales.
like $20, and if you have a big thing of mince, you can just you zero out your bowl or whatever, and you just add food until you hit your number, and it takes, and you don't have to give it any more thought than that. There's no math; you're just meeting a number on the scale.
Yeah.
Do you
Then
track consistently, Jerome, or is it just for like
I
contest prep?
I do in contest prep and with some of the projects that Jonathan and I have going on. I've kind of eased back into tracking food intake again, but it's very easy. It's very easy, and it's way overcomplicated if you try and count calories.
Oh gosh, yeah.
yeah, we've got food as a metric. We don't need arbitrary numbers that are often wrong.
Oh yeah, I remember when I did my weight loss in that 2020 and I was counting calories because I thought that was the way to do it, with the actual calories. I had my notepad, my calculator. Oh my gosh, it was a ball ache.
Yeah,
It
because
was
if
an
you're
absolute
counting
nightmare.
and if you're counting calories accurately, you're going to have to measure and probably weigh your food anyways. So
Yeah.
it's just easier if you skip the math portion of it and just go and weigh your food.
You know what is handy for the Jerome? It's handy for ultra processed food companies. They
True.
can put sins, calories, points, numbers
Yeah.
on a sticker, on a label, on a product,
Yeah.
and say, "Oh, look, this is less than 100 calories."
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's good because it's less. I'm going to eat more of them.
And I know Coca-Cola has marketed heavily here in the States that all calories matter, and 180 calories from Coca-Cola is the same as 180 calories from eggs, which is like 3 eggs. It's just awful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So next approach is about alternative. Yeah, I guess we kind of covered that about the food tracking and the amounts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hunger and fullness cues. Fullness. People often use the term fullness as a way to measure if they're satiated or not. They don't know what nutrient density is in terms of
Yep.
the signals. I mean, I've started to build up an appetite for eggs again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
We've gone through quite a few eggs in the last week.
yeah. So saying that my hunger, my desire to eat more eggs is greater. My appetite has changed. So what do? I feed it more eggs. You know, my body's not going to lie to me. You know, I'll be doing my forefathers a great disservice if I was to eat exactly opposite of what their biology was telling them to do. You know, I wouldn't have made it here. So at least I can do is pay homage to what they've managed to do and listen to my body. Again, consulting with a registered dietitian can be beneficial. Just thought I'd point that out. Can you spot reduced fat? This is a bit of a spanner in the mix, I think. I thought this would be quite a good one. So Sophie actually asked this question. The concept of targeting fat loss from specific areas of the body for exercise out of methods is largely considered a myth, not possible to selectively reduce fat through targeted exercise or techniques. What do you think, Jerome? Is that true
Yeah.
or not?
I would say that's true. Now, I've seen a little bit to suggest that there is an almost insignificant difference where a little bit of that fat is localized compared to the rest. But for all intents and purposes, fat loss is a global thing. The bigger issue I have with this mindset that you can spot reduce fat is you see exercises all the time, like the 6 best exercises to show off your abs. And they're all, abdominal exercises, when really the best exercises to show off a midsection are going to be the ones that stimulate the most muscle groups and produce the greatest degree of inroad on your musculature. And then you have to let your body handle the fat reduction through diet.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. If you're doing some decent compound exercise, even like a tricep push down, that's going to work your abs a lot if you train really hard.
Yeah.
That's what I found recently. I did some overhead tricep extensions and my abs were torched. So, yeah.
And I've thought about writing an article, something along those lines, like the 3 best exercises for a shredded midsection. And one of them would be just like tracking food intake. So just doing this with a pen and a piece of paper is a much better exercise than anything you're going to do in the gym for
Yeah.
long-term, fat reduction to the point where you can see your abs. And granted, that would come across as kind of satire or razzing those more conventional articles, but I think that's really true.
Yeah, I can see it.
I was suckered in at the beginning of my weight loss journey of, well, if I just do sit-ups, I'll get, it will reduce the midsection, because that's probably a lot of women's kind of issue area. And obviously it's not until afterwards, after doing it for months, that I learned that you can't spot reduce fat. It will disappear from wherever it disappears from. And even doing a carnivore, and I've lost body fat, I've not lost it from the places that I'd like to lose it first, because
Yeah.
it's not how your body works. You can't put fat on and go, well, I just want fat in my quads because I just want, jiggly quads, or I just want fat in my arms. You can't do that.
Yeah.
Just to be a bit controversial here, there is actually one way to spot reduce fat. Two, actually. So one is a medical intervention, which involves a surgery. Mm-hmm. The other one is through using pharmacology. So outside of that, in terms of exercise, diet, no, you can't really spot reduce fat loss. So you're going to be going to extremes here, guys, to really achieve anything like this anyway. It goes over like gaining muscle to sort of improve things and metabolic rate. See all the things that Joe really mentioned. So yeah, quite a good answer, quite a fair answer to be fair.
I do like at the top where it says it's important to focus on overall health.
Yeah,
And, I think crack your diet, get yourself moving, and you're happy as ever.
yeah, that's good. So next question, what is a healthy diet? This kind of summarise what the best of artificial intelligence can offer in terms of what we need to know about dietary intakes to optimise, live our healthiest self. So it provides the necessary nutrients. Yeah, promotes overall health. Yeah, reduces the risk of chronic diseases. Fair enough. Individual dietary needs may vary. If someone's like allergic to things, they have intolerances, perhaps they have a disturbed gut microbiome. Yeah, there may be some small differences. I might feel better, I might have better overall health if I include things that are genetically inherent in my ancestral makeup. Yeah, maybe. But looking at that, follow components. All right. Again, fruits, vegetables. So these are necessary. So healthy diet contains necessary nutrients. It's saying here it is essential vitamins, yes. Minerals, yes. Doesn't mention. There we go. Fiber and antioxidants. So fiber, I think that's not essential. Antioxidants, we can produce our own in some cases. A good antioxidant, funny enough, is actually grounding, earthing, sun exposure. People don't think about these sort of things. They just think if you can consume it, it's an antioxidant.
Yeah.
There are other mechanisms that the body has adapted to increase its detoxification pathways. The production of glutathione, which is through different hormetic stresses. So, yeah. Sleep as well is a good antioxidant.
And let's be honest, we all love sleep.
We all love sleep.
We could do with a bit more.
Do a bit more sleep.
Jerome especially, I think. He's
It's
still
been
surviving on his 4 hours.
It's been getting better.
Good.
Yeah, so colourful fruits and vegetables ensure a wide range of nutrients. I don't know. What do you
The
guys think
rainbow.
about that?
Eat the rainbow.
Eat the rainbow.
I can see it for kiddies, do you know what I mean? If you want kids to actually eat, then yes, if you put something colourful on their plate, they're more likely to look at it and eat it. But that doesn't mean it's the best. I mean, I'm not against fruits and vegetables, but you don't need as much as I think they're telling you that you need. And there's certain
You don't
ones
need
that are more
you don't need
toxic.
any. It's just there's some
No.
that are, yeah, like you said, less toxic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think if it's gonna improve your overall health, as in mental health, and to be able to stick to eating the correct foods, then yes, keep it in. Keep fruits and vegetables in. Just pick the better ones, and just don't go overboard. You don't need to eat a whole rainbow.
Yeah,
You're
Jerome,
all right.
what's your brutal assessment of these points?
Yeah, I was
Fruits,
just thinking
vegetables,
that
whole grains.
I was just thinking that if you were to even go within the plant-based community, you would find people all along that spectrum that would exclude virtually every single category of plant. So there are fruitarians that just eat fruit and don't recommend whole grains, don't recommend legumes, don't really recommend vegetables. You see some people that will recommend all of those except for one thing. There is nothing that the plant-based community as a whole can look at and say, like, this is one thing that we absolutely should eat. And I find that really intriguing. And the color of a food is nothing to do with its nutrients availability for human beings. Those plants have evolved for their own survival in a way that may or may not involve other species, and their color is a result of that. So a lot of like green leafy vegetables will have more green in them if they have more chlorophyll, and that just helps them produce more glucose to keep as their own fuel source as a result of interacting with the sun. If they have some kind of synergetic relationship with another animal, then they have produced the characteristics necessary to perpetuate that continued relationship with that animal. It's nothing to do with us as human beings unless it's the food that we've selectively bred.
Yeah, on the point of like the green leafy plants and things, the biggest one have the greenest leaves. So that's how you know they've adapted to be that way. Obviously all plants have green leaves and things, but the ones that are big, they've got big green leaves. They need that to be closer to the sun and things like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's quite a brutal attack. Yeah. All right, let's get to the next question.
I'm so happy you found a way to integrate that sound effect.
Oh, it's a bit of a laugh, isn't it? So lean proteins and healthy fats. Why lean? It always makes me laugh. They talk about lean proteins like chicken and turkey and stuff. All right, fine. Then you get healthy fats. Oh, fatty fish like salmon. All right, there's a contradiction there. Because the fats in salmon, apart from being higher in omega-3, are equivalent to the fats in other animals. So what's the difference here? They both contain saturated fats. They both contain cholesterol. Why is salmon healthy, but then fatty beef isn't? Daft. It's not sensible.
I've also noticed there's not butter on any of those lists.
No, butter's one of the richest fats we can eat.
It's not in fats and it's not in dairy, in case people are counting it as dairy.
It's got butyric acid, vitamin A, some vitamin E, some vitamin K2. People look at the labels of these things and think, oh, avocados, they're high in fibre, high in potassium, high in this, high in that.
It tastes gross.
They taste gross for a start. I don't like them. They're not a whole food. They don't give everything you need, but these sort of things have some perks to them. Like avocados, for example, yes, they have some potassium in them. Yes, they have some vitamin E in them, but you can get all of that from animal foods. These things aren't exclusive to these foods, guys. You can't get them anywhere else. Also, point to mention as well, nuts, seeds, things like that. Often they have to be processed in some way to actually be edible and be tolerable to human being. Olive oil as well, rancid as hell, usually speaking. Expensive to get the good stuff, so be careful with that one. Let's go to the next point, because this point's just daft. It's not even sensible. Dairy or alternatives. Choose low-fat dairy products like milk, yogurt, and cheese. I didn't realise cheese was low-fat.
Yeah, you
Why
can.
using
It always tastes terrible though. If you
Tastes
get
like rubber.
Yeah.
Dry as hell. Yeah.
The low-fat version.
You can always substitute, for these non-dairy alternatives.
No.
So you can give yourself kidney toxicity with this one, or you can grow yourself a big pair of breasts with this one if you're a bloke.
I'm okay. I've got some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if I want them bigger, do I need to have soy milk? Is this how we're doing it?
It has estrogenic compounds in it which are specific to males or females and have a different impact on their binding ability. So, for example, in men, the soy here is a much stronger variation of the estrogen than in the male human body at high amounts. For you, it'd be probably less. So it might actually make you less estrogenic because it might actually blockade that receptor site.
Oh, I'll just stick to the boob job then.
Yeah, that's my thoughts based on what Professor Barkay said, which kind of makes sense to me. So, yeah, obviously hormones are hormones, but how our body deals with them as a male or female between the two sexes,
two genders,
is very different.
Never knew that. You learn something new every day, don't you? Never knew.
Yeah, I try to say things that
I
correct.
think because I don't like soy milk anyway, I've never really looked into it.
Oh, it tastes like watery piss.
How do you know what watery piss tastes like?
Oh,
You
it's my
drink it
favourite.
daily.
I've joined the what do you call it? The piss drinking crew.
Luckily, they can't see your drink because it's the right colour for water.
It is right now, yeah, it literally is. It's even got the sediment at the bottom from where I've eaten all these almonds, and it's giving me kidney toxicity. That's just taurine, I think. Limit added sugars. Yeah, fair enough, fair enough, fair enough.
I love that it says opt for natural sources of sweetness like fruit. Well, sugar is sugar, whether it comes from fruit, a
What-
chocolate bar, or bread. Sugar is sugar. It does the same
This,
thing.
that's correct, yeah. And this word, natural. Natural is a very misused word. Natural just refers to what's around us at that given time. My natural environment is in a house in a suburban area
Yeah.
with Wi-Fi technology, mobile phones, electricity, sound, children, dogs, cats. I don't know, shelter. Like everything that's around me is natural.
Yep.
So it's not really. People say natural doesn't really mean much.
I mean, I think it just means not added.
Yeah.
But yeah, sugar is sugar, no matter how it comes.
wouldn't really
it does
say-
the same thing.
I mean, unless you're Rick in the comment section that is living in an area with bananas naturally growing. Naturally growing is in they've not been bred there or tricked into being there or forced into production. Yeah, you know. And we've also got the sunlight to help deplete the deuterium from eating them. There'll be less glycation as well because of your natural surroundings, and your ability to exercise will be greater. So it's not as bad to eat fruit if you live in a sunny climate. At the same time, it's not ideal. It's just a food that we have on the side. And obviously these things, which talk about fruits here, they're talking about like mangoes, strawberries, pineapples, apples.
The
These are
least
all,
kind of toxic.
a lot of these things are bred, Sophie. They're not. They haven't been here for millions of years. We've adapted to tolerate them. Yeah, not very well in a lot of cases. They're probably more tolerable in some ways than vegetables. Probably lower in oxalates overall, things like that. But then they could be higher in other things, sugar, for example, more glycation, more deuterium. So it's not as clear cut, I think. Yeah, so sorry for that random ramble.
Well, it is muscle ramblings.
Yeah, hydration, high calorie beverages.
So a high heat beverage.
Yeah.
heat.
No hot.
Just don't
No
have it
hot.
too hot.
Gotta drink your beverages cold.
So what you're saying? I can't drink ground up coal and charcoal
No.
shavings anymore.
Not really. I don't think you should.
Right, moderation, portion control. Moderation. I think moderation's a funny word, isn't it? Because we should just eat until we don't need to eat anymore.
Yep.
Then eat again when we do need to eat.
Eat to your
We
satiety.
should never have to moderate ourselves. Our body should do it for us. What do you think, Jerome? What do you think, Sophie?
Yeah, I think it's kind of like the word eat a balanced diet. It doesn't really mean anything in and of itself. It sounds like that's a statement of some substance, but you're right. If we're eating the right foods, we should eat until we're comfortably full or not hungry, and only eat when we're hungry, and things will kind of sort themselves out for most individuals that way. The problem with moderation is you have to try and override your natural instincts, and you can have willpower for that, but it usually only lasts so long, and we see why obesity and chronic disease is on a rise. We're trying to deny our natural instincts as human beings because we think we know better than our own body and better than millions of years of evolution.
So if you'll remember this, the first presentation we saw on Saturday at the Public Health Collaboration Conference.
Yeah, mental
They were,
health one.
yeah, they were talking about like food and addiction and psychology and stuff. What was one of the main things they said, which was quite surprising?
Oh gosh, I don't remember.
They were talking about moderation and abstination from food.
Is it that abstination isn't always the best way?
No, it was the opposite of that.
Oh, is that what they were saying?
So these are leading world experts in their fields, and they sort of said, from what we've understood, from what we've seen in the field with clients and people that we speak to, abstaining from food works better than moderating from food. Doesn't mean you can't moderate from food, and it doesn't work for some people, but they said overall, most people have to abstain from foods.
Yes,
You're
because
fighting your own.
It's a food addiction, and obviously society, it's everywhere. It's like asking an alcoholic or an ex-alcoholic to go into a pub and order water every day. Because it's all there, it's hard, so it's easier for him to just not go into the pub and order that water. Whereas, because they said, I think, from what I got, they're saying that everybody is addicted to sugar. But because everybody is, it doesn't look like it's a problem because everyone's the same. But obviously you can't avoid food because you have to eat to survive. You just have to avoid the sugar.
Yeah,
So obviously they're saying to just cut it out completely. That's abstaining, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah. Is better than moderating it.
Excellent.
Thank you very much. I remembered from Saturday. Oh gosh, it's going on. Thanks.
Did Roger get that much of an applause?
God almighty, lovely.
Yeah, we'll get through the next bits now. Here we go. So, individual needs. I think we kind of covered that one. Mm-hmm. So, why is the carnivore diet the optimal diet for the human species? So, I obviously asked this question trying to antagonise ChatGPT a little bit.
Why not?
See what it says. See what it has to say. The claim that the carnivore diet is the optimal diet for the human species is not supported by scientific consensus or extensive evidence. Mm-hmm. What is your hierarchy of evidence? That's what I'd say. Jerome, what evidence do we have right now that might support the carnivore diet?
Aside from nutritional biochemistry, the physiology, the way food affects our hormone levels, almost everything we know about the physiology of human digestion and nutrition. But on top of that, anthropology, the evolutionary history, radioisotope testing showing extremely high levels of nitrogen in our ancestors. I mean, there's a preponderance of evidence to suggest that humans are hyper carnivores and are facultative carnivores. And to eschew all of that in lieu of epidemiology, which cannot prove causation, is just ludicrous to me.
What do you think, Sophie?
Completely agree. I think there's a lot of studies.
Excellent.
A lot of studies and evidence. It's not just books, you know.
Yeah, I think Jerome brushed over it, but I know why he did it because he had so much to say. The mechanistic data we have, the biological, biochemical data we have, that's pretty concrete, guys. You can't really deny that. So, yeah, definitely. Could not have said that about myself.
Excellent, Jerome. Well done.
Yes.
Thank you.
Excellent. 100 composition coins
Oh, don't
Oh,
go
I've
give
been
them all
liberated
away.
from my
Hell yeah.
pocket.
I'm that
Gosh.
much closer to my free trip to England to train with you guys.
Hang on, who said free?
I did.
That was actually agreed, yeah.
Was it? Damn it. Oh, I think we've upped the amount of coins that they need, though.
They've got a lot of coins to get.
Oh, hang on, it's free for us. That's fine. You carry on. You get all the coins.
So here are a few points to consider. So the scientific evidence, we kind of covered that one.
Yeah.
Nutrient deficiencies.
Are we?
We've done that one already, I feel like.
Well, I don't know a single carnivore that is deficient in nutrients.
About scurvy. Someone in the carnivore community has heard of 3 people that have cases of scurvy.
Don't know their names, but
I don't know their names, or never
he
heard of them.
knows. And he had it.
Never spoken to them. They've definitely had it there.
But I feel like if there was nutrient deficiencies, one, Rick, who has been carnivore for 40 years, will be deficient in something, but he's not. Dr. Sean Baker himself has been carnivore 7 years. I mean, he's 56. Have you seen him? Hello. Anthony Chafee. Sorry, Dr. Anthony Chafee. Again, he's been, did you say 5.5 years?
Probably
He's been
carnivore about
carnivore?
5 years, yes.
And he's not deficient. And I mean, 5 years is a good chunk of time to
Something
be
would have happened, yeah.
carnivore for something to have happened if he is deficient in something.
If cholesterol, saturated fat, deficiency in fibre, potassium, vitamin C, vitamin E was an issue, it would
I
have
think
happened by
it'd come
now.
up. Yeah.
It would have happened by now.
And he's, I mean, I don't know his age, but he's still looking pretty good for, I'm going to guess he's 40 plus.
Yeah.
Anthony.
He's early 40s, yeah. Yeah. He does look quite good for his age, to be fair, yes. He looks healthy. He's more importantly, he's quite fit as well. He looks athletic. It's quite hard when you're... I mean, this gentleman's a doctor.
Busy life.
He's like a brain surgeon. These guys don't have time to do workouts in the gym, like an hour
For
each
hours
day,
on end,
4 times a week. They're not doing like an hour on a treadmill or getting their walks in each day. They're like stuck in theatre for like 12, 14, 15 hours.
Yeah.
And just trying to manage to get enough sleep and run a podcast at the same time. So
And have a life.
something he's doing is very, very successful. Definitely.
It can't be the diet, though. There's no scientific evidence to support that.
Apparently not. But apparently there is scientific evidence to say there's an increased risk of these health conditions, apparently. All right. Another one of those causative statements which isn't backed up by anything.
No.
Gut microbiome health. Yeah. Honestly, Mike, if digestion was a marker of a good gut microbiome, mine was absolutely shit on a plant-based diet. Shit. I was bloated all the time. How no one can say I did it wrong.
No.
Like even when I was at bodybuilding and I had my highest dietary intake of glucose and proteins and fats, like my biggest energy intake, my diet was still 70% plus plants. I was a plant-based athlete, effectively. Yes, I had a very high protein intake, but I was also eating loads of other food. So
Yeah.
it's not the fibre, guys. The fibre is not contributing successfully to maintaining a healthy and diverse gut microbiome. What do you think, Jerome?
Yeah, I would just piggyback on what you said, that even the standard Western diet is only something like 3 to 4 ounces of meat a day for most people. So most people are on a plant-based diet, and whether or not those are natural foods or more synthetic foods, most people are plant-based, and we see the health effects that comes with that.
Yeah, well said. I critiqued a video today twice, actually, because the first audio didn't actually work. But you guys are going to love this one. It's about 26 minutes long, and I absolutely demolished this guy from... apparently he's got a Masters in Nutrition from myprotein.com. And he's saying things about things that he doesn't know anything about. And it's really frustrating. And he really rattled me, and you'll see in that video if you watch it next Sunday. I look forward to seeing you there. Hopefully you'll make that one, guys. So yeah, again, and the individual variations just up here. So metabolic responses. Apparently we've got different metabolic pathways, Jerome. So
Yeah.
we can't be in the same house.
Maybe to varying degrees, but the responses are essentially identical in every single
Yeah.
human being.
Yeah, if you guys think about a map of biochemical process in the body, it's a giant web. Everything's interconnected. If you tweak one thing, it doesn't just tweak everything around it. It tweaks all the things around that around that.
You're all cogs in a machine,
All
aren't
cogs. That's very well said. Yeah, all different cogs. So trying to be too mechanistic and too reductionist is a problem in itself. So we can't be chasing health outcomes because we heard one plant extract of one single thing did all this universally health promoting stuff in the body and reducing inflammation and so on. It doesn't work like that. It's multifaceted. So yeah. Anyway, it's gone back against the old registered dietitian and healthcare thing.
Because they know everything.
Oh yeah, they'll put you on a plant-based, healthy, balanced rainbow diet.
Go wheat over white. Get the grains in.
That was absolutely dreadful, that one. Absolutely dreadful. Right, let's get rid of this nonsense. All right, we're back. So if you guys have any questions, please put them in the live chat. We'll be able to get to them as best we can. Failing that, we'll just go through the chat and just talk about what you've been talking about.
You've got us for about 10 more minutes, guys, so be quick with your questions.
Be very quick. So I'm joined with Claire from Beyond the Scale Tree Healing.
Hello.
Hi, Claire.
She's had a fantastic time, I'm sure.
Thanks for joining.
Thank you for joining.
Zbigniew,
Yeah.
hello.
As always, very good.
Although you're not first, Zbigniew, what's happening?
I pumped out 3 videos for you guys today, and this is how you repay me. Rubbish.
By joining your live, it's great.
No, you joined me late.
Oh, no.
Oh no, was he early?
He was early.
He was
Yeah,
early.
It was about half an hour early. Fair play.
You presented well early.
Yeah.
You presented it.
Sophie just demonstrated to me that my laptop is actually touchscreen. I didn't remember it.
I forgot that it was touchscreen.
Press buttons. Oh, it's quite hard to reach. Okay. Hit the like button. Yeah, I agree with that statement. Very good.
Definitely Zbigniew. Everyone hit it. But
Yeah.
don't break your keyboard because then you can't do it again.
I do routinely get about 10 people on every one of these lives, like people that watch it all the whole way through. And thankfully, there is always at least 10 likes by the end of the video, so
Good.
that's a good sign. Third, very good.
We'll let you off, Zbigniew.
It should be quite interesting. Hopefully, it was interesting. The YouTube research team on my YouTube Studio Creator application said, talk about AI. There we go. We'll talk about AI. So this should get loads of
Doing it.
views. Apparently. I don't know. I'm being shunted at the moment, by the way, guys. If you look at my last few videos, look at the views, it is horrendous. So please like, comment, and do what you can to share these out. I know Zbignev's been a very helpful in that regard. He's been sharing a lot of my content out, and I appreciate that a lot because it does help the algorithm, even if it is on different platforms. It does help.
Rick's here. Hello.
Rick.
Lambs.
Rick's brought excellent humour to the last few videos that I put up.
Good.
How's it going, Lambs? Do I need to say hello to everyone that's already said hello?
Nah.
It's only just perpetually saying hello. I want to find out more about this heart attack, Rick.
Yeah.
Yeah, he put out a video recently that's definitely worth a watch.
Okay. I don't know how I've not seen it. Oh, because I've got 350 videos to watch my my downloaded pile. Guys, if you send me a video to watch, I won't get around to watching it probably ever, unless it's like something critical imperative. You tell me I need to watch it. Yeah, I get sent a lot of videos.
I could hear screaming, and I'm just.
What from the midget?
No, it's not our one.
No, not that midget.
It's okay. Just wasn't sure.
God, that's horrendous.
It's not our one. We're okay.
John's got a new toy. Yeah, I like to press buttons.
He does. He was trying to get so many before we came on here.
Yeah. I might explain my audio setup to you guys just to... So I've got a box which attached to my computer. In that box I have 3 cables. 2 microphones, one for me, one for Sophie. Then in the middle of that one I've got a double head splitter that allows me to connect 2 headphones to my box. Then I've also got other things well plugged in. Then I've got software that's on my computer which I have to open prior to opening StreamYard to allow me to change my audio processing to make it sound a bit better, so that you guys can actually hear me through my accent. When I turn captions on to my videos, the captions are very, very accurate to what I actually say, which makes me think, how do people not understand what I'm saying? I'm an English guy with a fairly decent audio setup right now, speaking English in my native tongue.
Yep.
And I've got probably the most neutral English accent you could possibly get. Like, I don't sound northern, I don't sound southern, I sound very neutral. And neutral doesn't mean Midlands, by the way, guys. It's not.
No, that's kind of like northern,
That's
but not
northern,
too
basically.
north.
Yeah, basically.
That's what my dad sounds like. He's from the Midlands.
I've got what we might call a South Central accent, which is very neutral. Sophie's a bit more.
Southern, probably. Or maybe a bit more northern,
bit-
actually, because dad's northern.
Yeah, somewhere in there. Sophie's got a slight accent, but it's not that strong. But Sophie's also been hanging around me, so she sounds a bit more normal.
Well, I don't know about that. If you want to think that, love, all right.
Yeah.
Moron.
Rodecaster. I've got a Rode microphone, lavaliers, AI micro, software, Central Connect, all that stuff. So yeah, it is actually good. I do like using it a lot, and it has made my audio much better.
It has, actually.
The audio itself, though, is only as good as the room that you record in, guys. So you can't be spending, I've seen microphones out there for like $2,000. It doesn't mean anything if you're recording in a church. It's going to sound horrendous. So,
Oh, yeah. Again, it's quality over quantity.
Yeah, we're doing our best. And Jerome does spend equally as much time to improve his audio quality. I'd say now it's to the point where he doesn't have to do anything personally.
I try, thank you. Still some issues sometimes with StreamYard, but you and I have put in a lot of time behind the scenes trying to get audio to sound better.
Yeah.
I have put in so much of my time.
Yeah, Sophie's done a great deal of work.
So much. That was sarcasm, guys. I don't do anything techie. I got a flow.
Yeah, this is the funny bit that made me laugh earlier. Balanced diet means 1 pound of meat on each side of the balance scale. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
pretty much. Balance
Got it.
out.
Invisible penis. I've not got the green screen up, and microphone is like
It's an
There.
invisible micro penis.
micro penis.
It's here.
Because if you look at it, guys, it's literally the size of like your little fingernail. That's how big it is.
It is literally up to my first knuckle.
Yeah.
My pinky.
Yeah. So you don't. I mean, these weren't by any means cheap, but you don't have to have some big ass microphone to record quality sound. It just means it's easier in a lot of cases because this is omnidirectional, which means it records sound from all around me. But also, like Jerome's microphone is more central. It's more to his voice, to his actual where he is. So it's a different kind of scenario. But it works well for what I'm trying to achieve, and when you're traveling as well, the sound is It's light years ahead of where it was before. So I'm
And
quite
just
happy.
because it's tiny, the invisible penis doesn't have to be massive. Okay? Remember that, chaps. You're all right.
What do you mean tiny? It's a very powerful piece of
Exactly.
hardware.
And it's tiny, but it's still powerful.
Powerful.
It's not the size, guys. It's fine.
Have you seen how many decibels this thing can record up to?
Exactly. And it's tiny, but it's powerful.
It's actually a regular size microphone on Jonathan, but his chest and his muscles make the big muscles
look tiny.
make the microphone look small.
Yeah. What did you think of the video? Not the video. Me and Sean Baker, by the way, Jerome. What do you think?
I was shocked at how big Sean Baker actually is. I honestly thought you were going to be a couple inches shorter than him, but significantly wider. And like looking at the pictures of you guys, I'm like, man, the guy's just a monster. And even the pictures that you've put up and other people have put up from that event, just him sitting there in a t-shirt that shirt looks like it's one size too small. And I imagine he did that on purpose. But he just looks like a gorilla, not a gorilla, just like a chimp, like a hairless chimp, just shredded and really muscular.
Yeah, he's for an athletically built guy, he's built a lot of muscle in his frame.
Yeah.
He is broad, yes. He is legit 6'5".
Yeah.
His skin quality was good, not representative of a typical 56-year-old man.
No, really.
And what was actually amazing, which is like a weird thing you wouldn't really think about, was he's been wearing the same clothes in that picture you saw for about 3 days.
Because his luggage didn't arrive.
His luggage did not arrive. I obviously offered him my stuff. So bear in mind he's had showers and things, but he's wearing the same clothes.
He did
for
not
3
smell.
days. He did not smell of anything.
I'm armpit height. on
Nothing.
him, and he did not smell. Like the picture, obviously in the group chat. I mean, you saw my height difference with him. I looked tiny.
Yeah, he's of course not the biggest person I've seen, but I'll explain it. He was big and looked
Yeah.
powerful.
He's just a gentle giant, isn't he? He's a gentle giant.
Yeah, it's always bizarre when you see someone your sort of size, but then they're also taller. He's a 2XL, by the way. Which surprised
Bizarre,
me.
because you're 3, aren't you? Weird.
Yeah, I'm a legit 3XL. But he's a 2XL. But I don't know if it's just the way his structure is. Like some people, his shoulders are more sloped forwards than mine. Probably from his like heavy lifting and bench press days and things like that, where he's done different activities. So it's probably just his natural posture. Not necessarily a bad thing, but his structure is slightly different to mine. But we're both very tall, lanky sort of people.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting. My head looked massive next to this thing.
I guess I didn't think about that at all. Someone posted on a Facebook picture of you guys together that your calves were definitely bigger than his. So I would take that as a win.
I take it. Yeah. Yeah, you got to remember as well. He's a rower. He doesn't do calf races. He's not doing high times tension squats. He's all about powerfully jumping onto some platform.
Yeah.
Being as springy as possible, being strong in a low repetition range. He might also be, because he's so tall, he
Yeah.
has to build up so much mass to make his legs look big. I've had the same thing myself. I've really had to work my legs very hard for a long period of time to make them look proportional. So
It was just a real experience, wasn't it? It was
Yeah.
fantastic. Be able to just casually go up and talk to him when he is a very well-known doctor in this kind of industry. I told people at work that I met Dr. Sean Baker, and they were like, "Who?" I was like, "Oh yeah, you're not fitness people. You're not going to get it."
yeah, he's a very real kind of normal person.
So lovely.
Not, when you meet people that are like influencers, you can sometimes be disappointed. You think, oh, they're cocky, they're arrogant,
They're rude.
He
And normally
wasn't-
Americans are rude. No offence, Joe.
No, I get it.
Oftentimes, Americans here stick out like sore thumbs
Yeah.
based on our culture. Our culture is quite not introverted necessarily, but we stick to ourselves. We queue. We're very polite. We're a bit snobby in some cases. That's kind of how we are.
He just stuck out because he was so goddamn tall.
Yeah, he stuck out like. But interacting with him was honestly so interesting.
So nice.
We were having a mini debate between Patrick Holford and Sean Baker, and I, of course, interrupted and got in the thick of it and started
Just
to debate
leaning in.
my side, as I would. Then we were all sort of standing there at the end, and I had a few people approach me, and there's actually one lady decided was like, oh, yeah, ask him, he's carnivore. And I was like, how the fuck do you know me? And I was surprised because this room, right, is full of like doctors and professionals, people that have like done serious work.
Practitioners and
Like, yeah, I am a practitioner myself because I'm a nutritionist, but people that are my pedigree or higher in terms of like academia. And I was like, anyone here knows who I am. I'm amazed. I was quite shocked.
yeah, you had a couple of people come.
A couple of people, yeah.
Seen your videos. Some of them seen you with Bart.
Yeah, so it's great, and it is an interesting experience because when I've been to bodybuilding expositions before and I've met people that I've idolised, it's been like, oh, wow, they're interesting. Oh, they probably fob me off in like 5 seconds after I start talking to them. Yeah, they do. I was like, I don't want to give these people this experience. I was in a lot of pain. I didn't really want to be standing up there for 10, 15 minutes chatting to them, but I just stood up and thought, will this be one interaction that they'll get with me as a carnivore bodybuilder that they might remember or want to forget?
Yeah.
So it's important to put yourself and just like, put your best foot forward and
Yep.
do your best to promote carnivore bodybuilding the best you can. And even if it's not carnivore bodybuilding, it could just be fitness. So
Yeah. And we met Phil
It is.
Escott, didn't we? We saw him
Phil
and Ben
Escott.
Hunt. Lovely.
very lovely, very normal
Yeah.
people. Very normal people.
So lovely.
the
Like I
best
sat
way.
next to Ben. I watched him play chess.
Yeah. He loves chess. He's doing carnivore diet for reducing inflammation and a bit of weight loss and to get good at chess.
But they're
Nice.
both just so lovely. We saw Stephen Thomas, only briefly. I think he was sat with other people most of the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was such a surreal experience. I'm glad I went.
Who else did we meet? Andrew Scarborough. Jafia Clemens.
The
So,
Olympic rower
James Cracknell.
and the Scottish footballer.
I can't remember his name.
I don't follow football. So.
But yeah, I don't follow football. But yeah, quite a few interesting people there. It is amazing to see so many like actual experts in one room at one time. Ben Bickman just walked by. I was like, oh, I know him. He's some guy that talks about insulin resistance and stuff. So I was like, who? I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, that was an experience I'd really like to do again.
Yeah.
I'd like to be I'd love to actually be on the panel though when they talked about sports performance. I must admit the panel there was very good. You had Olympic athletes, you had long distance triathlons or Ironman people, and you had like serious athletes there, like people that have achieved a lot of things. So I'd honestly love to be on that panel one day because it'd say a lot about what I've been able to achieve, and the fact that I could do that would be very gratifying. It's probably one of my biggest goals right now is to do that one year. Be very proud of myself. And say if you can do it next.
Right, I'm going to have to jump off because I keep hearing crying and I keep thinking it's the girls. So I'm going to say goodbye now, and I think you'll be wrapping this up soon anyway, folks.
Yep.
Yeah.
But nice to see you, Jerome.
You
Excellent.
too.
Thanks for being on.
Anytime.
What do you think, Jerome? How's that?
It's great. Just the boys now, so we can really cut loose.
Yeah, so we can start talking about some real problems at hand. This is Carnivore Muscle Ramblings After Hours.
Yeah.
The ultimate muscle building, carnivore bodybuilding series in the evening time for true athletes.
Yeah, this is for the friggin' boys.
Yeah, I'm surprised not to have any questions because I had a lot of people that are like, oh, looking forward to Monday because I've got some questions for you. I'm like, okay, where are the questions? All right, I might just leave it there. Unless you got anything to say, Jerome, or...
No, I just wanted to say, Lambs, I see your comments. That's an excellent point. And I keep my mouth shut in that private forum that I'm in because this group is very anti-carnivore, and I think they drastically misrepresent and misunderstand the carnivore diet. So I'm in that group for what they have to say about exercise, but I think their dietary advice is borderline criminal. And anybody that just talks about calories, just eat in a calorie deficit, I think that's just the worst dietary advice.
Yeah, I had a big fight, didn't I, Jeremy, yesterday with someone.
Yeah, yeah. Jonathan and I we had a fun discussion on Instagram. It seems like we have lots of fun discussions on that platform. Um,
Yeah, someone managed to rattle me, guys, honestly.
some guy basically called Jonathan a moron, and if he doesn't believe in the energy balance theory, then come back to him when Jonathan's trained 1,000 people using the energy balance theory, and it was just so
He also called me nasty names.
yeah, it was so arrogant and close-minded and completely unwilling to actually have a civil discussion with another human being that kind of left a sour taste in my mouth.
Yeah. I did track him down on YouTube though, just to see what kind of following he had, you know. Maybe we'll debate him in the future, maybe. I don't know. Turns out he had 1 subscriber.
It's legendary.
So that would have been of no value to me at all. My IQ would have actually dropped from being involved in that conversation, so that's not saying I wanted to entertain really, but he probably wouldn't have obliged anyway. He would probably have said, "Oh, I can't make it because I'm too busy coaching my 1,000 clients," or some
Yeah.
nonsense. And people like. And that'll probably wrap it up. I think Jerome needs a wee, so we'll have to
Usually
call it a
do.
day.
I usually do.
Yeah.
At my age, yeah. Just you wait until you're 38, Jonathan.
I've got 10 more years. It's my birthday next month, so it'll be a very exciting
man.
experience to be within a decade of your age.
We'll have to celebrate somehow.
We'll definitely do something. My goal is to have maybe like a StreamYard meeting or a Zoom meeting with all the people that I collaborate with online quite a bit. So that'd be a nice experience. Just setting up will be nearly impossible because everyone's different time zones. So I appreciate that, but it'll be a time zone that's most likely American friendly. So it might be 8 in the evening for my UK time, and it'll probably be a weekend day as well. So you might have access that way. So no promises, but I'll see how it goes. And Rick is 55 in 3 weeks. Excellent.
Yeah. I was teasing. I'm 38, but in so many ways, I feel like I'm still in my prime. I feel better at 38 than I did at 18. And I'm in better shape now at 38 than I was at 18. So I still think my best days are ahead of me for a long time.
Yeah, I'm sure he probably got. I reckon he got 20, 30 more years of looking like a fucking bodybuilder, like sick, like absolutely. When I say sick, guys, it's a colloquialism, so it means sick is in impressive. Like I keep saying like because I'm using my English language right now, but it means that you're really impressive, like beyond what you'd think was possible. So give it 30 more years, then you can give up the gym and just eat Pop-Tarts and Cheerios.
No, I want to go for the Robbie Robinson, just being shredded well into my 70s and lose a little bit of mass as I age, but keep conditioning, keep functionality, and keep overall health.
That's a good goal. Yeah, I'd aspire to be the same. I aspire to be as ripped as him one day. One day. All right. We'll take care, guys.